Hello, Stephen White for Steve Arts 89. Disneyland. It's been in the media a lot lately thanks to the Star Wars Land Galaxy's End underperforming and Disney not allowing a grieving father to use Spider-Man on his son's grave, which was on his gravestone, which was his wish. So a lot of bad press, and of course that bananas fight with that very dysfunctional family and no security or anyone to do anything for 5 minutes of sheer terror and horror in Disneyland, the happiest place on earth. A lot of bad press, but it did sort of make me think about the place. I thought, I don't know much about it. I remember watching the Disneyland Disney World Saturday show when I was a little kid and thinking I'd like to go there one day, and then I think I had a colouring in book about Disneyland or Disney World. And then I just kind of forgot about it. I didn't really watch a lot of the cartoons when I was a kid. I just had some of the books, so I knew the stories and the characters, but hadn't really watched any of the movies. I saw Lion King once. It was okay. I didn't like them when I was a kid, and then when I got older, it's like, I'm older, why? I'm like an adult, why am I going to watch cartoons? I never really got into them. And then I kind of realised that I was the only one who hadn't. Everyone I knew had this history of Disney, and they knew all the songs, and people were looking at me like I was a freak. And I said to someone recently, I've never watched a Disney film, and he was like, oh, he had to bring up another subject. So I thought, okay, I've actually got a bunch of the classics that I bought on DVD and just never had the time to watch them because I thought I should know these films because they are classics. And I thought I'll just do like a weekend marathon and watch them all. I'll get all the Disney princessy ones and all the ones everyone knows, and I'll just put them all aside. When I've got them all, I'll just sit down and do like a chronological marathon and watch all and then I sort of realised how many films they did, but I'm just going to stick to the iconic ones. So I was planning to do that. And then all this stuff happened with Disneyland and all that, and I started to look at it and get a bit cynical. And then I just sort of wanted to know, when did it open? When did it start? How did it all start? So I went online and earlier tonight I just went online and just went on YouTube and thought, history of Disneyland. And there's this wonderful guy who, God, I should remember his name. Alex the Historian. He's done a whole series of Disneyland history, or Disneyland History Today is what he's calling them. And I just had a look and saw the history and all that, and I sort of noticed the date for a second, and it sort of went past me, and I realised, oh, it's actually the 64th anniversary of the opening. It opened in July, I think July 18 or July 17, in 2000, in 1955. So it's the 64th anniversary. And I thought, okay, I think I'm going to stick with this. I'm going to watch this whole series of history stories, which is really interesting. I actually love history and I love theme parks. I've never really been to one, but the idea of them, because they're basically creating experiences in reality and a different world. It's basically like making a movie that you walk through, which is kind of why Galaxy's Edge didn't work, because they picked a movie. Well, they didn't pick a movie. They just made up a Star Wars world that no one had been to or cared about, and had characters that people really didn't know or care about, and left out everything that people were wanting to see and wanting. So I understand why that failed, and it is failing because the pass holders that have been cut off aren't there, and no one's come in to see that, so they're just empty as. And they probably wouldn't be losing money, but they're not making the money they thought. They thought this place was going to be busting with people. They thought this was the 80s and they were in the original trilogy. It's a bit embarrassing and a bit scary for them, I think, but and a bit sad. But if they can tweak it a little bit, they should have just made it Mos Eisley. I mean, could you imagine how cool it would be to be able to go to that bar, or to go to Jabba's palace or something like that? They should have just had the land. I'm stealing other people's ideas because I've read a bunch of articles and watched a bunch of videos. They should have just split the park up into stuff from the original trilogy, stuff from the prequels, stuff from the new ones, so everyone had something to look at, and you're reveling in the history, and you're moving on with the new show as well. But of course, no, they just wanted to make it about their Disneyland, their Star Wars. You're supposed to like our characters and buy our characters because we obviously get more from the merchandise than Lucas's characters, even though we bought them. You know how copyrights and licensing work. So that's just been a disaster and sort of maybe dark on Disney. And I thought I need to go back and remember find out why people love Disney. And I started watching it, and it is amazing the vision that he had to build this land. He was sitting on a park bench, apparently, watching his daughters play, bored crapless, and thinking there needs to be somewhere people can go and take their kids and experience something with them. And being a filmmaker, he wanted to put people in the movies or give them sort of experiences they couldn't get anywhere else. And yeah, it went from a small 11-acre block of land across from the studio to the 100 or 200 acres they bought. I think half of that was for the car park. And it's kind of been amazing. I've been watching that, and I'm going to keep watching them, and I'm going to watch the movies. And I think I'm going to come back and do like a Disney review or a series of Disney reviews or something. And this is just more, I don't know, I just want to talk about Disney. And it's the 65th anniversary, so I'm guessing it's going to get a lot of attention and probably some positive attention. It might actually wash away all the crap from the whole Star Wars failure and the Spider-Man licensing travesty and the pathetic security that didn't do anything about that fight. And like, can you imagine being there with your kids and seeing that? Like, that would traumatize you. And it's supposed to be the happiest place on earth. You pay, and that's the other thing they did. They widened the streets. They did all this stuff to cater for the new Star Wars ride. And they also put the prices up from $70 to $90 to like $100, $150 or something. Someone was talking about the prices that they were getting last time they went in this time in a video. And I'm like, wow, that's really, I haven't checked. And I don't know what it would be for tourists versus people who live there versus season pass holders, blah, 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 blah. There's a lot of different ways to go to Disneyland apparently. And I'm definitely going to do that. It was always one of those things. I thought Universal, Disney, I'll do them one day. But now I've looked at it, I do want to do it. And I do want to do it before a lot of the rides that I'm seeing now disappear, because they do tend to change them up a bit. And yeah, so I guess I'll leave it there, and I will go and finish watching about the history of Disneyland, which is kind of fascinating. I am going to get to the dark side of it and try. I've heard a lot of bad things about Walt Disney, that it was like a Nazi or a Nazi sympathizer or hated Jewish people or something. I don't know how much of that is just negative, people have to shit on something good, or if you really had some issues that, you know, do we look past that and just look at what the person created and the good that they did and forget about the bad? Like, is that okay, or do we need to acknowledge it? So I guess I'm going to delve into Disney, and I will watch all the movies. And I don't have Little Mermaid though. I have to remember to buy that on Sunday. I meant to do it last week, so I watched like most of the classics except The Little Mermaid, which is the one I want to watch the most, because that's the only one I kind of half saw, because my niece was obsessed with that. My totally racist niece, who I hope is just spinning in her coffin. Not that she's dead, she's just a vampire. I hope she's spinning in her coffin about Ariel being black, but we all know all about that. And again, that's about them blackwashing redheads, not about having a black actress, singer in a leading role. I wish they would just give her her own series, her own franchise, build a movie around her. She's obviously a star. Give her a star vehicle, get her out there. But leave the Little Mermaid alone. Leave her for the little redhead girls and the redheaded mothers who want to take their redheaded girls to see their redheaded princess. But now, because Hollywood has this horrible trope of recasting the redheaded characters for black characters because they want the woke points, they want to put the diversity in there, but it's not organic. It's like, well, we don't want to give up our white, blonde, important characters, so we'll just give you the redhead stepchild. You can just take that, retread that. You know, you're happy with that, right? You don't need an actual real character or any actual effort from us. No, okay, you'll take scraps. That's great. Have fun. Dine on scraps. Oh, vey. But I've already talked about that. But and here it is, nearly 10 minutes. I'm still going on when I said I was going to end it 2 minutes ago. But I'm going to end it now. Just going to go watch the videos, watch the movies, find the other one or two I don't have and do the whole thing over the weekend, and then probably do a video on Monday. And I'll probably do a more detailed one later on about Disney and all that, because I do want to make some proper documentary style videos, because I was really inspired by the latest video this guy did. It was such good quality. The earlier ones are very much just talking over pictures, but he keeps improving them and going in and doing them again. So I was impressed by that, but I'm going to leave it there. Please feel free to subscribe, like, comment. I love seeing other people's videos. I love hearing what people have to say, so I'd love to hear what you have to say. Thanks. Bye.